I found the envelope on my doorstep on a Tuesday morning, and I knew immediately something was wrong. It was too thin, too formal. My hands shook as I tore it open, still holding my coffee, still wearing the pajamas I'd lived in for 3 days since finishing my last round of chemo. Inside was a single piece of paper. Legal letterhead. The words blurred as I tried to focus. Cease and desist. Harassment, unwanted contact, legal action. My son was threatening to sue me for trying to be his mother. But that wasn't even the worst part. Paper clipped to the letter was a photograph, one I'd never seen before. It showed Michael and his wife Madison at some fancy restaurant, champagne glasses raised, both of them laughing. I recognized Madison's dress from an Instagram post I'd seen 6 months ago, the one she'd captioned, "Celebrating Freedom." In the background of the photo, barely visible, was a framed document on the wall behind them. I held the picture up to the light, squinting. The document looked like a deed. My deed. The one to my house. I didn't know it then, but that photograph was evidence of a plan 7 years in the making. A plan that would cost me everything I'd worked for, break what was left of my heart, and teach me that sometimes the person you trust most is the one who destroys you. Let me back up. I need you to understand who I was before all this, before the cancer, before the estrangement, before my only child looked at me like I was something he'd scraped off his shoe.
I'm Dorothy.
I'm 52 years old, though I look 70 now thanks to the chemo. I worked as an ICU nurse for 30 years, double shifts, weekends, holidays. My husband David died of a heart attack 6 years ago. Sudden. No warning. 1 minute we were planning our retirement, the next I was planning his funeral. After David died, Michael was all I had left. My beautiful, brilliant boy. I'd given him everything. Sold David's truck to pay for his college textbooks. Took out a second mortgage, so he could go to that fancy private medical school instead of the state program. Worked myself to exhaustion, so he could have the life I'd dreamed of. And he'd made it. Became a surgeon. Married Madison, a beautiful blonde influencer type with 30,000 Instagram followers. Had a son, Ethan, my grandson. My only grandchild. I thought I'd finally have family again. For the first year after Ethan was born, I tried. God, how I tried. I'd call to ask about visits, and Madison would say they were too busy. I'd offer to babysit, and she'd say they had it handled. I'd suggest family dinners, and suddenly they had other plans. Always polite, always smiling, always a wall between us. Michael started changing too. Phone calls got shorter. Visits stopped completely. When I asked if something was wrong, he'd sigh like I was being dramatic. "Mom, we're just busy. Can you give us space?" So I did. I gave them 3 years of space. 3 years of sending birthday cards and Christmas gifts that went unacknowledged. 3 years of watching my grandson grow up through Instagram posts instead of in person. 3 years of celebrating holidays alone, telling myself it would get better. Then I got diagnosed with breast cancer. Stage 2. Treatable, they said, but I'd need surgery and chemo. When I called Michael to tell him, my hands shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone, he'd said, "That's tough, Mom. Listen, the survival rates are good. You'll be fine. I've got to go. Madison and I have dinner reservations." He didn't visit me during surgery. Didn't call during recovery. Sent a text 2 weeks later. "Hope you're doing okay. Crazy busy here." I told myself he was overwhelmed. He was a surgeon. He saved lives. I couldn't expect him to drop everything. But I should have seen it then. The coldness. The distance. The way Madison had slowly, carefully erased me from my son's life, like I was a stain she was scrubbing out. The morning after I got the cease and desist letter, I did something I'd never done before. I fought back. I drove to their house. Just showed up. I needed answers. The house was massive in a gated community 40 minutes away. I'd helped pay for it with that second mortgage. Michael had told me Madison's parents covered the rest, that they were so generous, unlike some people who hold money over their heads. That comment had stung, but I'd never mention the mortgage again. I rang the doorbell. Through the frosted glass, I saw movement. Then nothing. I rang again. Madison opened the door a crack, dressed in expensive workout clothes, her hair perfect. Dorothy. Not mom. Never mom. Just my name, flat and cold. We weren't expecting you. I need to talk to Michael. I got this letter. He's busy. Madison, please. I have cancer. I'm going through hell, and my son won't even. You're using your diagnosis to manipulate us. Her voice was calm, like she was explaining something to a slow child. That's not healthy. We've set boundaries, and you keep violating them. Boundaries? I'm his mother. I just want to see my grandson. Ethan doesn't know you. You're a stranger who sends random packages and shows up uninvited. Michael has made his choice, and his choice is his wife and son, not you. The door closed in my face. Through the window, I could see Ethan playing on the floor, 7 years old now, with Michael's dark curls. He looked up, saw me, and waved. I waved back, tears streaming down my face. Then Madison scooped him up and carried him away. But through that window, I'd seen something else. Something that would unravel everything. On the mantel behind them sat a stack of unopened mail. And on top, I glimpsed an envelope with red "Final Notice" stamped across it. I went home and did what any desperate mother in 2024 would do. I started digging through the internet. Madison's Instagram was public. 30,000 followers watching her blessed life. Designer clothes. Luxury vacations. Posts about protecting your peace and cutting out toxic people. Then I found her blog. Written under a pseudonym, but obviously her. The post that made my blood run cold was titled, "How I Got My Husband to Choose Me Over His Mother." It was a step-by-step guide. Step 1. Frame every interaction as boundary violating. Step 2. Gradually reduce contact until she gets the message. Step 3. Create new traditions that exclude her. Step 4. If she persists, make your husband see her as the problem. Step 5. Stay united. Build a narrative where she's toxic. She'd systematically erased me. And Michael had let her.
No, worse.
He'd helped her. I kept digging. Found public records. Madison's parents weren't wealthy. They owned a small property management business. No way they dropped $100,000 on Michael's house. I pulled Michael's credit report. I was still on his accounts from co-signing his medical school loans. What I found made me sick. 3 massive loans. $80,000 5 years ago. $50,000 2 years ago. Another $20,000 6 months ago. All at predatory interest rates. My son was drowning in debt. The perfect Instagram life was a lie. Then I checked my own mortgage account, and my heart stopped. There was a pending refinance application for $75,000 against MY House, an application I'd never submitted. Someone had tried to steal my house. I called the bank. The representative said Michael had applied for a home equity loan, claiming I'd authorized it because I was too sick from cancer treatment to handle finances. The only reason it hadn't gone through was a fraud detection alert. My son had tried to make me homeless to fund his lifestyle. But even that wasn't the worst of it. Because 3 days later, I got a call that would reveal just how far Michael was willing to go to protect his perfect life. The call came from a lawyer named Patricia Chen. She'd found my number through the police report I'd filed about the attempted fraud. Mrs. Hartley, I represent 3 women who are suing your daughter-in-law for fraud and emotional damages. Her empowered wife coaching program destroyed their families. I've been building a case, and I need to ask you something. Did your son ever work in hospital administration?
No.
He's a surgeon. Why? Because 4 months ago, someone accessed the hospital's insurance billing system and changed the codes on several of his malpractice claims. It made his insurance premiums double overnight. The hospital's investigating, and they think it was done to create a financial crisis. Mrs. Hartley, I think your son and his wife have been manufacturing emergencies to justify stealing from you. My mind reeled. Why would they do that? Madison's business is failing. The lawsuits scared off her clients. She needs money to keep up the Instagram facade, or the whole empire crumbles. And your house, paid off, in a good neighborhood, is the only accessible asset in your son's name. He wouldn't. He's my son. Mrs. Hartley, I have text messages between them. From a former client who hacked Madison's phone before the NDA. Do you want to see them? She emailed them over. I read them on my laptop, my whole body shaking. Madison, your mom called again. We need to accelerate the timeline. Michael, the loan application didn't go through. Fraud alert. Madison, then we do the wellness check. Have her committed for 72 hours, get emergency financial power of attorney, refinance while she's locked up. Michael, that feels extreme. Madison, Mike, she has cancer. Stage 2. Even if she makes it 5 years, she'll be too weak to fight us. We take the house now, sell it, clear our debts, and by the time she gets out, it's done. What's she going to do? You're all she has. She'll forgive you because she has no choice. Michael, you're right. I'll call it in tomorrow. I slammed the laptop shut and vomited into my trash can. My son, my baby boy, the child I'd sacrificed everything for, had planned to have me institutionalized so he could steal my house while I was locked in a psychiatric ward. And the most devastating part? Madison was right. I would have forgiven him. Even after everything, I would have found a way to excuse it, to blame her, to tell myself he was manipulated. Because that's what mothers do. We love our children, even when they destroy us. The police came the next morning. Michael had called in the wellness check just like the text said he would. 2 officers, looking uncomfortable, explaining that my son was worried I was having a mental health crisis. I show them everything. The texts, the loan applications, the cease-and-desist letter, the evidence of Madison's failing business and their crushing debt. The older officer, a woman named Santos, read through it all carefully. Then she looked at me with something like pity. Mrs. Hartley, I believe you. But here's the problem. Your son is claiming you're experiencing delusions related to cancer treatment. He has a psychiatric expert ready to testify you're a danger to yourself. Unless you can prove criminal intent, this becomes a civil matter. He tried to steal my house. His name is on the deed as a beneficiary. A lawyer could argue he had partial claim. It's murky. These family financial abuse cases almost never result in charges. She paused. My advice? Get a restraining order against them. Protect your assets. Cut your losses. Cut my losses. Like my son was a bad investment instead of my child. But she was right. I couldn't win this fight. Even with evidence, even with truth on my side, I couldn't force Michael to love me. Couldn't make him feel guilty. Couldn't shame him into being the person I'd raised him to be. Because maybe I'd never really raised him at all. Maybe I'd been so focused on giving him everything that I never taught him gratitude. Maybe my sacrifices had made him entitled instead of grateful. Maybe Madison hadn't changed him. Maybe she'd just revealed who he'd always been underneath. That night, I made a decision. I called Michael. He answered on the 3rd ring, irritated. Mom, I told you. I'm signing the house over to you. Silence. Then, cautiously. What? You win. I'm dying anyway, probably. Stage 2, 88% 5-year survival rate. I know you looked up the statistics. But chemo's brutal, and I'm tired. So tired. If you want the house that badly, take it. I'll sign whatever you need. Just give me one thing in return. What? His voice was wary, suspicious. Let me see Ethan. Once. 2 hours. Let me take him to the park, buy him ice cream, tell him who his grandmother was. Then I'll disappear. Sign the house over, move into a nursing home, whatever you want. You'll never hear from me again. More silence. I could hear him breathing, could imagine him calculating whether this was a trick. Finally, 1 hour. Supervised. Madison will be there. Deal. We met at a park near their house 3 days later. Ethan ran ahead to the playground, and for that 1 hour, I got to be a grandmother. I pushed him on the swings, watched him climb the jungle gym, bought him ice cream from a truck, and listened to him talk about school and his friends and his new video game. He was beautiful, smart, kind. Nothing like his father. Madison watched from a bench, scrolling through her phone, making sure I didn't say anything to confuse him or violate boundaries. When the hour was up, Ethan hugged me goodbye. Will I see you again, Grandma? The word grandma broke something in me. Maybe, sweetheart. Maybe. Michael walked me to my car. For just a moment, standing in that parking lot, he looked uncertain.
Young.
Almost like the boy I remembered. Mom, don't. I opened my car door. I'll have my lawyer send the paperwork next week. You'll get your house. I didn't want it to be like this. I looked at him, really looked at him. At 32 years old, with his perfect life and his perfect family, and his soul sold for Instagram likes and luxury vacations. Yes, you did, I said quietly. You wanted the money without the guilt, the inheritance without the grief. You wanted me to disappear, so you could have everything without ever having to say, thank you. So, congratulations, Michael. You got exactly what you wanted. I drove away and didn't look back. 3 months later, I got a call from Patricia Chern, the lawyer. Madison's coaching business had imploded. The lawsuits had gone public, and her followers had turned on her. She'd filed for bankruptcy. And Michael, my successful surgeon son, had been fired from the hospital when they discovered he'd falsified insurance claims to fake the premium increases. His medical license was under review. Their house, the one they'd tried to steal mine to save, was in foreclosure. The karma I'd hoped for had arrived. But it didn't feel like victory. It just felt empty. I'm in hospice now. The cancer came back, spread to my bones. Stage 4. The doctors say I have maybe 3 months. Michael hasn't called, hasn't visited. I don't expect him to. But sometimes, late at night when the pain is bad, and the morphine makes everything soft and distant, I think about that hour in the park with Ethan. His laugh. His hug. The way he called me grandma. And I tell myself it was enough. It has to be enough. Because at the end of your life, you don't get to choose who loved you back. You only get to choose whether you loved at all. If you're listening to this and you have parents who sacrificed for you, call them. Visit them. Don't wait until it's too late to realize that the person who loved you most was the one you pushed away. Because someday you'll stand at their funeral and wonder why you wasted so much time protecting your lifestyle instead of protecting their heart. And by then, like my son, you'll have everything you wanted and nothing that matters. If the story touched you, I hope you'll share it with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the hardest stories are the ones we need most. Thank you for listening.